So we are with Big Red. Guys, thank you so much for joining me on the show.
Great to be here. I'd like to wish everybody a well deal with this whole virus deal, and hopefully we can all get through it and get back to racing soon.
Well, with that said, you guys are in the shop. Are you guys still working? How's it going on your side?
There's a lot of work here in my shop besides Big Red. I mean, we're kind of preparing Big Red for Bonneville right now, and in the hopes that there will be a Bonneville this year. And then there's other projects going on in the shop also.
Do you guys want to just go through and introduce yourselves and what your positions are and what you guys do? Can you guys?
Okay, I'm Dave Ward. I'm the crew chief / team manager. And Mark?
My name's Mark Ewing. I'm basically the head mechanic, go get guy, hauler driver, just kind of the all around guy, you know.
How did you guys get involved in Big Red? What's your background? Mark, let's start with you.
The story is really deep, Joe, and we don't have enough time in a day. But it all started for me probably in the late 80s with the Gottliebs renting a car from my dad for some laps for RJ around Willow Springs. Years kind of gone by, and I got back involved with the Gottliebs back in the 90s, in the early 90s with Raceway when they had another shop doing a lot of IMSA and SCCA, some stuff at Willow as well. So worked with them for a while then, and left for Texas. And about 25 years later, ran into Dave, and they were running the car again. So back involved we were.
Um, I started back in the late '80s. Basically, I went to work for Bill Osborne, who built Big Red originally.
Nice.
And I went to work for him about a week after he finished Big Red, and I worked there for a couple of years on Big Red and other projects that Bill had. Went on my own, opened my own shop basically, and a few years later, Gottlieb's came to me and wanted me to start taking over some of their racing endeavors, and actually had Big Red in my shop for probably, I don't know, probably 3 years. And people would come along and take a look at it, pull the cover off and look at it. And I finally talked the Gottliebs into letting me put it into a museum down in a local gambling town by us called Laughlin, Nevada. And it was in the museum for 7 or 8 years. And they took care of it, kept it clean and stuff. It was a perfect place for it. Gottlieb decided that they wanted to get back into racing, and basically, I had sold off all their other cars because they weren't racing at all, and decided to do something with Big Red. So I got out of the museum, and Tim Flainer, which is another co-crew chief of mine, um, and I basically went through the car and updated everything from 8 years of not doing anything, and just started looking for something to run with the car. So I've been with Big Red quite a few
Yes, from
years.
day one. Eh? Big Red is it's not just made for Bonneville or anything. I mean, you guys have done everything, hill climbs, you name it. If there's a race, Big Red's been there.
Yeah. Originally, Big Red was designed to run open road races, and originally the La Carrera down in Mexico, which ran from Ensenada to San Felipe, Mexico, and that's basically what it was made for. And RJ's dad, Dan, decided that it'd be probably safer if we could do something in the States. So he sat down and figured things out with the DOT official of Nevada, and found a stretch of road that they'd allow us to run a race on. Uh, and it ended up being the Silver State Classic, which they still run today.
Mm.
Uh, so we ran that for a few years. People were getting hurt, and because it's very high speed, well over 200 miles an hour. RJ was still a kid, and Dan decided that maybe it was just too dangerous anymore for to take a chance of something happening to RJ. So the car went basically into my shop in storage, and that's when we put it in the museum. Well, RJ grew up and went to college and got out and worked for a few years and decided, hey, I want to go racing as an adult. And Dan says, yeah, whatever you want to do, you're an adult now. And we pulled the car out of the museum and just freshen it up. Not sure what we were going to do with the car yet. It just so happened that the mile events, the standing mile events, had just started kind of coming around, and I think our first mile event that we went to was Texas, and it seemed to be a pretty good fit for what we were doing. So we did a local one at Mojave, and then Texas. That was going all good and everything. We decided, well, that's kind of similar to Bonneville. Maybe we ought to do something for Bonneville. So we geared up and changed what we needed to change in the car to run Bonneville, and ran Bonneville. Not We didn't do very good our first outing. There's a lot to learn, and
Steep learning curve.
yeah, steep learning curve. So the next year, salt wasn't very good, and we decided, you know what, let's try, instead of going back to Bonneville, let's try some hill climbs, because we had done the Virginia City hill climb, and we decided, well, Pikes Peak is the ultimate, so let's try that. So put the car together and ran uh, Pikes Peak with it. And for rookie, they said we did very well. 11 minutes, 8 seconds is what our time was from bottom to the top.
You're still running that in a 60s car, and you're running up against supercars and stuff, aren't you?
The suspension is basically a stock car suspension. It's no subframe in it like in a '69 Camaro. That's all been taken out, and it's basically a stock car chassis that the '69 Camaro body's been put over. The motor that we went to Pikes Peak with made about 900 horsepower, and we actually it's the first time we've ever had fuel injection in the car. It's always been carbureted, and because of the altitude change of Bonneville or Pikes Peak, we decided that fuel injection was the best way to go. And so it was the first time we actually ran something late model in the car.
I'll touch just a tad on all the different stuff, that we do with this car.
Yeah, go for it.
It's something probably that everybody on this team holds as the highest regard, that we can take a car and do Bonneville, El Mirage, which is the dirt land speed racing, Pikes Peak, the mile events, the open road racing event, and all these different ventures, with the car. People will walk up and just look you deadpan in the eye and say, "How many of these cars do you guys really have?" And we'll knock on the fender and say, "Just this one." I hold Dave in the highest regard, because this guy sitting right here beside me is a guy that walks in this shop in the morning and goes, I had a thought last night. 3 days later, that thought has already been turned into some piece of steel, some piece of metal, something that just increases our ability to go do something else. The challenge that we face, you know, I get told what to do. Put this on, put that on, and we'll think about things and we'll talk about things. But Dave will walk in here and he'll just go over and put his welding hood on and show up an hour later with a part and go, "This is what we need here." So the thought that goes through it and the success we've had is it's very team related. We're a very tight group of folks, but this cat right here, he makes the magic happen. And the Gottliebs, they're record driven. I mean, they're just success, and there's no excuse. When we go hard, and we're expected to do better than just good. We expect to go and go hard, and that's what's expected out of us. And when we don't, kind of a bummer. But those days are far and few between.
You guys are driving a living legend, and a legend always has to keep up to that name. I mean, when you guys rock up an event, I mean, you are Big Red. You are the pinnacle. You are pro mod. You guys started everything.
One of the coolest things, Joe, was when we wrapped up at Pikes Peak, and the car came back down the mountain, and we were all standing around, yahooing, and had a successful run. I think every Pikes Peak official came by the car and said, "You guys are a top class operation. You showed up here as rookies. You never missed a second on the racetrack. You never caused an issue, and ran a very respectful number up the mountain." And we just can't tell you how good it was to have you guys here, and how much we appreciate seeing the way you operate, which was really cool.
No, that is beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. Now, going back to when you guys were saying how the setup from a normal top end run on tar to Bonneville, how different is that setup between those two top end runs?
The top speed setup versus the Bonneville setup is reasonably close right now, parts and pieces wise. Really, other than just kind of some lead, maybe a couple of upper A arms just to
More
keep
caster,
keep the
we put more
caster in the car.
Mm.
and we put a lot of lead on the axle in the back. So we have a special axle housing that we use for Bonneville, so we can stack. We stack 300 pounds of lead on the axle housing itself.
To try and
And,
get the weight down, to get the wheels down on the ground. Yeah.
The interesting thing with Bonneville, which is totally unethical to any racing we've all grown up doing, is heavier is better. And when you hear that as a rookie going there trying to prepare for it, you just think there's just no way. There's just no way. Well, when you get out there and you start shoving a red brick through the air at 250 miles an hour on a 2-inch tire contact, mm, yeah,
Yeah.
weight's your friend.
We have Speed Week in South Africa, and the area is called Hutken Pan, which is where Bloodhound is busy setting up their land speed record. And a few years back, we actually went racing there for the first time. I'll send you guys a link. We did a documentary on it. And that was the first thing that we learned. And I mean that's not like salt flat, but it's the biggest, flattest space in Africa where we could race. And I was funny enough, I was in a Dodge Ram with 6.9 Cummins motor, and I just decided to go down the track. And the wind kept blowing me off the track. It's this car just started moving across. It was completely insane. And all the guys that were racing, we found that exactly in that first day, we found all the heavier cars were pulling way better numbers than the lighter cars. It was mind blowing. And the skinnier the tires were, the better the guys were driving. It's everything that we thought we knew about racing with all these big racing guys just went out out the
It's
window on
out
that
the
first
window.
day.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
we're going. We're put probably another 1,000 pounds in the car for Bonneville this year. We got to 266 was our absolute top speed, but with our average it was 258. So that's the record that we hold in the class. And the only way to go faster is what's happening is he's hitting that wall of air and can't push through it.
Mm.
And so the rear tires at 200 plus miles an hour start spinning, and the thing gets loose, and he backs off the throttle and gets feathers the throttle a little bit, and then hits it again and goes back up and kind of hits that same wall. And so the only thing to do at this point is to put some more weight in the car. We can't do anything body wise to aerodynamics because of the rules. We run a classic class, so we have to stay pretty much stock looking body wise. And so we build a heavy motor. Everything that's been in Big Red so far has been aluminum block, aluminum head. Now we build a cast iron block, cast iron head motor. So we're hoping for like 300 to 400 pounds more in the front. And we just figured out a place to put some more lead in the car, about 250 pounds,
Yeah.
low and in front of the axle, some other things, and
We found the point where drag overcame traction. At about 260 so miles an hour. Unfortunately, our class to get RJ in the 200 club, we've got to run 270. There's a minimum.
Yeah.
So we got our record, but we're not in the 200 club. So we left a little pissed, I guess you'd say.
Yeah.
So, we came back and Dave over here walks in one morning and goes, I think I figured out a place to put some more weight. Well, by God, it's at the powder coater right now, getting pretty, ready to bolt in the car.
well, the thing was though too, we just couldn't bolt where I wanted to put it. We couldn't bolt flat lead because there again it was against the rules because it was an advantage, aerodynamic advantage. So we said, well, what if the lead was round? We said, well, that'll be fine. So we got round lead, and made it a way to bolt it in the car safely, and we're legal.
Oh,
So we try to always do things, legal. We think outside the box a lot, but when it comes down to it, it still has to be legal.
Got to meet the rule book.
Yep. Thinking about doing this year. It's a big thing locally here is half mile, and
mhm.
it's usually a flag start. Sometimes they run you individually. Some of them run you side by side. But we didn't haven't really wanted to go to that in the past. But we're getting to a point where we can run well over 200 miles an hour in a half mile. So we think that's fairly respectable. So we're going to go give it a try.
It's more than respectable. That's actually insane. That is
You had asked, sorry to interrupt, but you had asked earlier about what the different changes are between the different setups and the different parts and all. And I'm gonna throw a shameful plug in, on this Big Red Camaro build book. I don't know if you guys have heard about it down there yet or not,
no, no, we haven't.
but it's about a 200-page build book that is basically tell you the entire history of the car. It goes through the complete renovation of the car before Pikes Peak and goes through all of the different bells and whistles that go in this old gal to go wherever we're going. It's a pretty cool
But
book.
the guys can order that online, isn't it? I think Josh
Yeah,
yeah.
on the international orders, I think you go to shop@bigredcamaro.com
Mm,
and email them internationally. Here
yeah.
in the state, it's bigredcamaro.com, and you can do your internet stuff. But I believe internationally, you need to email at shop@bigredcamaro.com. And I mean, they've got the books are there, the DVDs and videos of all our stuff we've done are there.
We watched I watched, I mean, the DVD was on Amazon Prime, and I
Yes,
think
sir.
the second season is out now as well.
Yes, it
Um,
is. And another shameful plug, you can also get it at bigredcamaro.com in DVD or Blu-ray. How about that?
hey, we should get you for some infomercials, and there's more.
Yeah, yeah. Pretty soon I'll be selling glue that keeps boats afloat.
If you buy now, you get a T-shirt. No, good for it. Excellent.
And
Okay.
we've got some cool stuff out there, and we're pretty proud of the stuff that comes out. It's
It's
quality
good
stuff.
quality, yeah. I mean, you guys, just your
We're
merchandise is so on. I mean, you guys have built such a love behind this car. There's such a following. I mean, who knew that a car could be that famous? I remember years back, Big Red, which it was in Fast and the Furious. Which one was it? Number 4. I think it was,
number 4.
and we were actually, it was the South African Street Rod Nationals. And that night, myself and a whole bunch of guys went to go watch Fast and the Furious. And we're sitting there, and the next thing, Big Red comes up, and there's all these guys going, "Oh my God, it's Big Red!" No one else in the theater had any idea who we were, what we were
Yeah.
talking about, But to us, that was like, oh, Big Red. And then we were completely disappointed when we saw it just had a cameo. It was never driven anywhere.
But they did use the sound off of Big Red for the Fast and Furious. We did
Really?
yeah, we went to a local road racetrack with one of the persons that was in charge of the audio sounds for the movie, and put microphones all over the car, and we ran around the racetrack all day long with people at different points of the racetrack, and got a lot of sound off it that they wanted to use for the other cars that were in Fast and Furious.
So every time Vin Diesel's driving a Dodge Charger, it's actually a Big Red going around a corner. That
Could be.
Yeah,
that is the coolest thing I have ever heard
yeah.
in my life. Right there. That is absolutely beautiful. Now, so you guys, what's your next setup now? What did you say is the next event? Bonneville,
we were
am I right?
we were set up to do a half-mile run out here. We'd put a little magic pieces back in the car to go run this half-mile stuff, and in fact, even did some testing. And then the virus came out and shut all that program down. So nobody's really rescheduled anything. Bonneville is really the next on our schedule.
Mm.
So we're we're just hoping and praying we can get through this mess we
Yeah.
got going on out here right now, and hopefully the salt will be good as well, and that's where we'll be. Come out and see us.
That is the kicker too, though. The salt isn't always good.
Yeah,
Sometimes
exactly.
the salt isn't good, and they can't even make a course out of it. So there's been a few years, the last 10 years, that they haven't been able to actually run Bonneville because there wasn't enough salt on the part that they used to put a race on.
Yeah, one year we were there, we could have raced jet skis instead of race cars.
Yeah,
It was
Well,
just put a water on it.
if that's not going to happen, we're going to have to stick Big Red on a ship and bring him to Africa, and just goes. There's always desert, and desert's always desert. You know, we got a big piece of land here.
How far do you guys? How long of a race do you put on there?
If I'm not mistaken, that I need to go check, but I think it was. I remember you guys work in miles. It's actually huge. We run certain small events, and I think they run up to 5 kilometers. So we're just gonna have to work that back into miles. So what's it? It's 1.6 miles per. Oh God, I'm gonna need a calculator for this one. Uh,
yeah, it's over 5 miles.
that's it's over 5 miles. Yeah.
This
Bonneville's 5 miles.
There's Bonneville 5 miles. This area is huge. I mean, look, they like I said, they're running Bloodhound. They did, and I think they had it at the end of last year. He's coming back. I mean, he's trying to get to 1,000 miles. I think 1,000 miles an hour in that thing.
Wow.
it's not better if you said that in kilometers.
Yeah, I know. That's like 1,600. We've got a local hill climb event here called Samoa Hill Climb, which is one of the biggest motoring events. That was actually supposed to happen now in the last week. That's also now been postponed. And I know I've been talking to Josh and everyone to see if we can't get you guys through for that one, but that's only a mile, and I mean that's warm up for you guys. I mean that's the one thing that Josh said that was beautiful, and he said, we Big Red will go. We might not be the fastest going up, but we will be the most spectacular. And I'm like, that's
Go big.
Because
exactly.
we're definitely not a purpose-built car. You know, when we go to Bonneville, every car there other than us is built strictly for Bonneville.
Mm,
And when we go to Pikes Peak, every car at Pikes Peak is a car built to go up Pikes Peak. You know,
exactly.
we just change a few things and go try our best
Be respectable.
yeah, be respectful and do good. So we might not be the fastest, but for our class of cars, we're respectable.
We put on the best show.
Respect. I mean, every petrol head car enthusiast, respect to you guys for what you guys achieve. I mean, what you just said, people don't understand the magnitude of something like that. You know, you're just a car. You're just a bunch of guys that go, oh, we're gonna go do this one. And
Bunch of old guys that like to go fast.
exactly. I mean, that's the coolest part of out of everything. So, and what else is on the cards from you guys? Was there any big changes still coming? Is it just like you said, you guys at that point, you're just tweaking little pieces and stuff of the car constantly?
We've been in the wind tunnel a couple of different times and got a lot of good information that we've changed on the car since then, that we've kind of tweaked and worked with a little bit. So that before that, we built something for the car, thinking, well, we hope it works. We have no idea if it works. So we finally decided, we found a wind tunnel fairly close to us. It's a day trek, and in Utah. But the car, we took every hood we had, which is about 5 hoods, and 2 or 3 deck lids, and 2 or 3 different rear spoilers, and splitters for the front, and wheel coverings that we run at Bonneville, and just went, and one thing at a time we change it. And just the rear spoiler, the wing that we built for the car, we tried all the different positions on that to see how much drag, how much down force it gave. We spent about 6 hours on the wind tunnel, just changing things and seeing what it do, and went home, and with all this knowledge that we just found out, and changed some things around, and a year or two later we're on our way to another race, and we just kind of bypassed through Utah again, so we could see if what the changes we made helped, and they did. So
Wow.
it's little things like that that tweaking on the car that we're getting a little extra speed and the downforce that's needed.
When you guys got the car in the wind tunnel, were there some things where you guys thought, this one we're going to be spot on, and then you put it on and you're like, that you were completely, the wind wasn't going where you're expecting it to go, or it wasn't reacting the way you were expecting it to go?
The biggest thing I think I saw was the the more angle I put in the rear spoiler, the more downforce we got, but it didn't create as much drag as we were thinking.
Mm.
And the guy that run the dynos or the wind tunnel said that it should have given us more drag, but it was well worth putting it basically in the top hole with as much angle as we could put in it. It was minimal drag on the car, just from the way the air goes over the roof of the car.
Mm.
The downforce versus the drag was just way beneficial to just keep standing that thing up in the air, which was surprising.
And then there was our last pull or last time in the wind tunnel, ran a deal. I don't remember what we were doing, but we had our 4-inch cowl hood on the car, and a guy that was there that helps the wind tunnel guy. He's a pretty smart dude on aerodynamics and stuff. He said, let's take a little bit of cardboard and tape it between the back of the scoop and the windshield and the cowl area, because there was probably a 4-inch gap or so in there between the windshield and the back of the cowl. So we got some cardboard and some duct tape and duct taped it to where it went all the way and sealed against the windshield. Gained 35 pounds of downforce on the front of the car and about 15 pounds of downforce on the back of the car somehow, just by doing that. Yeah. So we came back and we built a new hood that actually another hood that we actually could take the back off and change the back, because Bonneville, you have to have a 2-inch gap between the back of the hood scoop and the windshield, and all our open road, all our mile and a half stuff, it can seal. So we made 2 different back sections that Zeus on that we can change back and forth depending on what we're racing. So we didn't have to build another hood.
How big is the rig that you guys move when you take from Big Red? So,
First of all, the rig is never big enough.
No.
All right. Just like the race car, we keep finding places to put things in the rig, just like the car.
yeah.
But when we go to an event, we're pretty much focused. We pretty much know what we've got when we go. We don't take the entire shop, but we'll take all the parts.
We do when we go to Bonneville.
Yeah, when
We take
Bonneville, we take an extra truck.
Yeah, extra van full of parts, welders and drills and motors and drills and anything and everything, caps and dies. And
But we get a lot of the Gottliebs have always almost demanded that the car remain stock looking. Okay, low cowl hood, standard deck lid, and that was kind of the way Big Red is it's a stock '69 Camaro appearing car, and that was the Gottlieb's deal. I mean, back in the day, they even painted aluminum heads orange and the intake manifold orange, so when you looked under, it looked stock.
Yeah.
And the RJ keeps coming to us and says, I want to go faster. Well, you want to go faster, you got to give us a little bit. So, you can see behind us right now, there's a intake tube stuck up right now out of the hood that looked like a shark rudder.
I know.
So-
I've been staring at that since the thing come up, going, what are you guys building? Are you guys looking at going into turbos? Are you adding superchargers? What are you guys doing there?
This setup right here is a crank-driven Pro Charger.
Yeah.
So it's a supercharged engine.
Yeah.
That's the intake tube coming up off the Pro Charger, which is sitting in front of the block, crank-driven. So you got to build a hood to cover that, which Dave was talking in the wind tunnel. We get a lot of flack online that the hood is ugly and lose the hood. And well, there's a reason for everything on this car, and there's a reason for that hood to be the way it is.
Exactly.
Kind of make the best out of both worlds and get what you need to go fast and take chances.
kind of like the rear spoiler is to Bonneville specifications for our class, and it'd be nice if we could get away with running just a stock 69 Camaro spoiler on the back, which we have deck lids with that on it, but it just doesn't flip the back of the car. So we have to run that to get the speeds we're getting. I mean, it's a give and take. We got to change some things around, but the car is still all steel. The only thing fiberglass on the car is the hood. Everything else is steel.
Really?
When we did the rehab on the car, we were talking about carbon fiber fenders and front roof and this and that.
That
You know,
was my next question. Where have you guys not started looking at? I mean, carbon fiber doors, nose, all that type of stuff. You know?
But that's not Big Red. Big Red's is steel. So we decided, you know what, even though it's heavier and going to hurt us at some of the events, we're going to keep it steel because that's what Big Red's known for.
Absolutely.
The class we run at Bonneville, like you see right behind us here, the tube goes to a blow-through carburetor, so it's not even fuel injected.
What?
And we have a blow-through carburetor, and then we have a set of mechanical fuel injection nozzles in all the ports to help equalize the fuel going to all the different cylinders, because blowing through it was getting lean on 2 or 3 cylinders and burning pistons. So our engine guy came up with this mechanical fuel injection
Enriching circuit, we call it.
Yeah, and it has to be mechanical. You can't have fuel injection in our class. So we stayed with mechanical, and on the dyno we do a pull, and then we pull an injector out and drill it out a couple of thousands and put it back in and try it again until we got all 8 cylinders fairly equal to each other temperature wise.
A lot of homework.
Yeah.
How long does it take you guys to rebuild that motor? Now, if you guys are at an event and stuff, I mean, every time you guys do a full, do you guys come back? I mean, the same as they do with drags, car comes back and you guys just run through everything, check everything, or is it just small tweaks and then we out again?
No, I mean, we do check the motor over. We check the filter, you know, for material in it, and do a leak down on it, readjust the valves. If we've done something at an event that warrants taking the motor out and really having the bearings checked really well or something, that like maybe we had a oil pressure drop or something, we'll take it out. Mark will. We'll send it to the motor guy, and he'll turn it upside down and look at all the bearings and do a leak down, and everything looks good. We'll put it back together, and we'll be ready to run.
Now, to go back and touch on something you said, how much stuff do we take in the rig to the races, right? Well, there's one of everything in our trailer that's on this car, spare. And you asked, you know, what kind of stuff do we do? We don't service the motor drag racing style. You know, the heads don't come off, the pistons don't come out. Everything gets looked over, everything gets touched between runs. But if we do have a catastrophic failure, we're prepared to do a motor swap overnight at an event.
Which how many did we do last year? 2?
We did 2. We did 2 motor swaps over 2 different events last year at the racetrack, you know, throughout the night. And it's, you know, 3-4 guys, 8 to 10 hours.
Yep.
I haven't had my hands in the engine compartment for a couple of weeks now, so there's no blood on them, but it's a bloody deal.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are just going bigger and bigger and bigger. I mean, it must be how much space is left in that engine compartment. I mean,
None.
Okay, none.
No, we've used it all.
We have a running joke that whenever we've got to work on Big Red at the racetrack, we pull the left rear tail light out and just keep taking stuff apart till we get to what we got to fix, and then back out the same way. It's a puzzle.
Guys, it's absolutely awesome talking to you guys. It's an honor more than anything else. I mean, this is so much fun. I can actually sit and talk to you guys all night. My wife keeps stealing my Big Red stuff, you know. So Big Red is her favorite car.
Happy wife, happy life.
Listen, she's got an American quarter horse, and the quarter horse's name is Camaro. Okay, so if he was red, he would be Big Red Camaro. So, guys, thank you so much for talking to us on the show. All the best, and be safe, not just in racing, but with the virus stuff as well. Look after yourselves. If all goes well, we will see you. We'll come visit you guys as soon as possible, because standing next to Big Red is part of my bucket list. You know, watching you guys at Bonneville or Pikes Peak or something is a dream. So one day we'll get there to come join you guys.
things keep going the way they are. You never know. Maybe we'll
Yeah.
drop into South Africa.
That would be insane. Just tell me when I will hook you guys up. Look at when we started talking to guys about getting you guys here. We got a lot of guys that jumped on the bandwagon. Companies that will help ship it in and all that type of stuff.
When is the race there in South Africa?
Normally there was one around April now, which was the big one. And I think the next racing, the big ones on the salt flats are only going to be around September. So I need to see what is some nice big events and stuff that we because I mean, Josh was saying you guys are big supporters of the veterans, obviously, and you guys try and do events that can help raise money for war veterans.
Sure.
We want to try and support as much as possible. Like I said, Samoa Hill Climb, it's a bit short because I mean, Big Red is the type of thing that if there isn't an event, we'll make one. That's a support for Big Red from us. Yeah.
Right.
Well, the fun part for us though too is just go out and see all the other cars that compete. There's so many combinations that people put together at Bonneville or wherever we run. It's always neat to see other people's work and cars and what innovations, and it's fun for us just to be able to do that also when we go out.
Guys, but thank you so much for everything. All right.
Thank you, Joe.
Good, Joe. Good
Thanks.
luck to you all down there. Stay safe and give your wife a hug and a kiss from Big Red.
I will do. Thank you. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Cheers. Bye.
Thank you.